All right, everybody, welcome back. This is episode 4, and we're actually just gonna shoot the crap here. Kind of go over our previous podcasts and then our upcoming weekend that's coming up. It's a youth turkey season. Um, yeah. So, Dave, what do you want to start with here? What do you want to talk about
First
here?
of all, let me stop you there. Okay.
What?
This is still going to be a good podcast.
Oh, of course, it's gonna be a good. Well, when we're talking, it's just gonna be good. Period.
We're still talking a little bit about turkey, but we want to move forward a little bit.
Well, we're gonna move forward, but then move back again because here in the next couple weeks, we do have another guest that we're bringing on. The owner of Type One Calls.
Nice.
Yes. So that's gonna be awesome. He's gonna be on. He's gonna talk about his business and his calls, and maybe even a little bit of Type One diabetes, which him and I both have. We share a little common interest in that, and yeah. So I think that's gonna be
Did
awesome.
you get your calls yet from him?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I have 3 of them.
Oh, yeah. So they'll be ready for this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. I actually should have brought one today. I mean, they're beautiful. They're really nice calls.
Yeah.
And I've been working on them and trying to get better with my craft there, and hopefully we can call in a turkey with one. If not, it's the foolproof
Yeah, right?
box call because I'll be slapping on that thing too.
Bring out old trusty.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm probably going to use that to spark up the conversation. Start hearing some gobbles with that, and then once we start getting closer, that's when I'll start bringing out the Type One call.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because you can be really soft with that, you can purr with it. Something that it takes us extremely a lot of practice to do with the box call, and it's a lot easier with like a pot or slate or something like that. So
Yeah. That's cool. I can't wait for this weekend either, man. This will be Sophia's first year hunting turkeys, and she's excited. I got my other daughter. She's taking her hunter's ed right now. She's on chapter 2.
hobby is
Yep.
wow, that's
I'm
awesome.
excited about it.
Man, I should get Malachi's been asking for years, but I want him to be able to retain what he's reading.
Yeah.
I don't think he's at that point yet.
Yeah, I told her, she's sitting there looking at it. She brings out a stack of 3x5 cards, and it's like a timed thing. I'm looking at it, and she's sitting there for like a while, just writing down these notes. And I watch over, there's a whole stack of notes. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I don't want to forget any of this stuff. Well, you got to read the words, don't just like rewrite it down. But I guess it's good for memory.
Well, to be honest with you, with her writing it down, it's probably going to help her memorize like what she's actually reading as well. So, I mean, that might actually be a good thing.
It was kind of a trip because I was sitting there looking at the timer going down. It was like 15 seconds. I'm like, oh, this is the muzzle. You got to keep your finger out the trigger. You have to put it in front of all directions to this is safe. And all of a sudden the timer ran out and it didn't do anything. I realized we didn't have a timer.
Basically, for some of those, because I just did that with Devin a couple years ago. Well, you just did it with Sophia too. So I mean, the timer is only there to where like that's when you can switch it over to the next page.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. I thought we
Yeah,
were trying to beat the timer.
Well, let's say if you have the books already, and you could just skip all the way through it to where it gives you like the little test, and then you move on to the next part, and it gives you like that little section test. Then you could just skip all the way through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you could have a four-year-old with a hunting license.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you don't want dad taking your test.
Well, this year,
because dad's not really going to be sitting there paying attention.
Yeah, you got to make sure everybody's getting information across.
Yeah.
This year, we had with the COVID thing here in Washington State, we had some shutdowns that caused them to change the rules for getting your hunter's education, and one of those rules was no practical exam in the field. So this year they brought it back. So Abby actually has to go do the practical exam, where I just went through it with Sophia and just have to be by her side for probably until she's old enough to do it on her own, obviously. But now she has to actually go sign up for a practical day and go take the test.
Oh, really?
Yep, shoot, no shoot scenarios and shoot a little shotgun. I don't know if they're gonna give them the 20 gauge or 410 for 8-year-olds, but she has to go.
I don't know, man. It depends on where you do the test, because when Devin did it when he was 8, they gave him a 12 gauge. And at that time, I mean, my son's not very he was not very big 8-year-old running around with the 12 gauge. He did not pass the test because he could barely hold the 12 gauge.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why they did that, because he wouldn't be running around with the 12 gauge in the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you give a 8-year-old a 12 gauge shotgun full size? This wasn't like, a little short youth. Well, I don't even think they make a youth 12 gauge. But anyways, it was twice the size of him. I'm like, I'm there while they're testing, and my wife actually took the test at the same time. She passed, and she came back, and she was really upset because I was out shooting my bow on the range, and she was like, "Yeah, Devin didn't pass the test," and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Because Devin was so fired up, and he actually didn't want to come see me because he thought I was going to be upset with him. And I wasn't upset with him at all, of course. And I'm just like, "Buddy, what happened?" He was like, "Dad, they had me doing the field test with the 12 gauge, and basically all it is walking around with a weapon, making sure that muzzle control and this other stuff." Well, when he was going through, there's like a fence crossing part, where you have to hand it off and say that you have
and all that.
Yeah, you have the shotgun and all that, and then you pass it along. Well, he was holding his 12 gauge, and then someone else was passing him their weapon, and he freaking dropped them, and that muzzled somebody.
Oh.
And, he was just super upset because instant muzzling of somebody, you fail instantly. And he didn't even want to come talk to me. And I was like, dude, I'm not upset with you. I'm more upset with the instructor having you running around with a 12 gauge shotgun when you're 8 years old, because that would never, ever happen in the field. Like, that is not even practical.
So what happened with that season? Did he
didn't hunt.
Had to wait a whole year?
I couldn't get him into another class because they filled up so fast.
Oh, yeah.
So, to be honest, it was 4 years later when COVID happened. COVID was actually a blessing for us because I took some time off work because at the very beginning of COVID, it was a huge scare and all this other stuff, like either people were tripping or they weren't tripping at all. I wasn't tripping at all. My wife was freaking out because I have asthma.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, they say that people with asthma, blah, 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 which they didn't have anything backing what they were trying to say because no one knew really anything about it.
Yeah.
So my work offered me, they're just like, hey, you can stay at home and get regular pay, but you can also work from home.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, well, cool. I'll work from home. And I started looking into hunter's ed again for Devin because he was doing school from home, and we stumbled upon all this online stuff, and his walkthrough was all online.
Yeah.
It's kind of a joke to do it online. I'm glad that they're able to open it back up to actually have it in the field. It's really nice. I just hope that Abby doesn't get stuck with somebody that's going to give her a 12 gauge shotgun because she's not.
Ain't gonna Chris Rock my daughter. I'm telling you that.
Yeah, she's not. She's not big enough to be walking. Well, to be honest, when it goes to the shooting part, that'd probably give her something that she could handle. But through the field test, because it's just like a mock up of, is this legal to shoot? Should you shoot this here? They give you like a skylined animal. Should you take this shot? Then you have to like bring up whatever weapon you have and say yes or no, or you've gone through it. You were an instructor as well, so you know the whole deal. I just hope that Abby doesn't get.
I won't worry about it. We'll see what she does. And the thing, either she's gonna take the test. She has to pass the written first, and then hopefully she does well on that, and then she's pretty good at retaining information. So we'll do practice walkthroughs and stuff at home before we go, for real.
Yeah.
So
that's exciting, man. I'm actually super excited, and I'm like kicking myself in the butt that I didn't get Malachi going on it too, but he has like severe ADD, dude. So for him to like sit down and take the test, it's gonna be rough.
Yeah, well, sooner the better, I guess. Where he's got to do his improvements, and maybe he can handle it good. Some people excel when they're something they're interested in.
And he is definitely fired up and always asking. Like when I go scouting and stuff, I usually go scouting back in the backcountry, and taking him into the backcountry is a little bit of a challenge. It's because of his type 1. And if I don't have cell service, it's extremely hard to monitor his blood sugar, but one of the areas that I go into actually has cell service now.
Yeah. I'm surprised that that monitoring device isn't more Bluetooth. It has to go through a satellite. It should connect kind of like a headphone does to your cell phone.
Yeah,
They should have something like that, it seems like.
you know what? I think his pump came with one, but we opted out to use the cell phone because then my wife and I can be connected to it, or Devin can be connected to it, which is Malachi's older brother, or grandma can be connected to it so that we all can see his blood sugar instead of just the one single monitor. So that's why we use the cell phone, because we can all like log into like his cell phone account. We can all see his blood sugar, which helps out a lot.
Well, hopefully next year he gets his stuff scored away and he can get out there with us.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna have to definitely look into that and get Malachi going on that because that he can't wait. So he can
You
go
can
hunting.
still sign him up it's not too late to get him started because regular season's not till
October.
Yeah, I mean you have a while anyway, so at least get him started on the testing and see how he does, and then if you decide for yourself if he's ready for the practical, if he's ready, send him.
Now, do you have anybody that you're actually looking to sign Abby up with? Because there's, well, here in Washington, at least on the west side, I mean, there's only really two places that are close to us, and that's Paul Bunyan, which I heard is better than TSC.
For the practical exam, or?
Yeah, for the practical.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We haven't looked into that part yet.
Well, let me know. Let me know. Because I'm definitely interested in getting Malachi started because, might as well just get him going. Because I don't know what he's going to retain. I don't know if, and obviously if he doesn't pass, which is okay, I can always work with him on what he needs to be dialed in on. Like if he doesn't understand something.
Part of the reason we're talking about this is because, we feel like kids are the future of this recreational privilege we get to enjoy, even though we believe it's a right to enjoy. And we want to make sure we're passing it on to the next generation. So getting kids involved is paramount for us. Getting our kids involved is personally in our interest, and they enjoy it a lot. It gives them something fun to do, and they can learn a lot of life lessons out there in the field. So we're briefly covering this just so you can catch up with what we got going on. And we're like many of you out there. You have kids and they're growing up, and now you're looking at what's an appropriate age and what do they have to go through to get in the woods, and it totally changes your perspective on hunting. Because in my life till now, it's been me and my buddies, and we were kids. When I say kids, we're like 16 years old, running through the woods with rifles for a while, then archery equipment forever.
Yeah. Yep.
Now it's like we're bringing up these kids, and we're working through this together. We're our friends that we're all our kids are about the same age, and we're all every year. It's like something new and funny happens every time. You're like, what the? You also want to just shake your head. You're like, what the hell was that?
Just some of the stuff that they say or think of, or it's fun.
I took Soph out last year, first time, and eventually she's like, Dad, stop taking pictures of me. I was like, I can't believe it seemed like yesterday you were just born. Now we're out here carrying a rifle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cute and so fun. Yeah. Special time in life.
Well, it's different too because, well, number one, they don't bow hunt yet. So we get to play guide, which is really fun. And you get to share like different stories, like when you're going through the woods, like, oh yeah, man, a couple years ago, there was a herd of elk right there.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's where I shot my first deer, or, stuff like that. And they're just like, oh yeah, cool.
my daughter, she has to go to the bathroom in the woods, I'm like, she's heading over to the tree. I'm like, be careful. I seen a bear over there last year.
Then they're like,
I seen a mountain lion right over in that spot right there.
Like, oh yeah, maybe I don't have to go.
Just give her something to think about, Just look around and make sure that nothing's around watching her.
That's funny.
Take this 10 millimeter with you. Yeah. So anyhow, that's why we're covering this stuff. It's super important.
Yeah, definitely. And it's, maybe important for other people out there as well as, as their kids start growing up and start getting to the age to where, now they're carrying the weapon around. They're not just following dad around, going scouting or even going on, hunting trips. I mean, I took Devin out on his, like, first time he's been out with me was turkey hunting, and he was probably like 4 or 5 years old. He was just walking around with dad because we didn't see anything.
Yeah. This weekend's going to be fun. I can't wait to see the first reaction when the turkey, if we hear a turkey gobble, the first reaction on the kid's face, whether it's Devin or Sophia, but
yeah,
hearing that first gobble the first time is it can be a life-changing experience as we've seen,
yeah.
And we're talking turkey for a month now,
Well, to be honest, I mean, that's like our first real kickoff for the hunting season. Well, now maybe this wasn't relevant on our last podcast, but now we don't have a spring bear season. It's on pause. Hopefully, we see it back here next year or maybe the following year. Who knows? I want spring bear to be back because spring bear hunting is very fun. But turkey season is our first kickoff of us getting boots on the ground and getting out hunting when, the snow starts to melt. Because here in the Northwest, or even just Washington in general, it's hard to get out scouting because the snow is 7 feet deep. You know what I mean?
Oh, we're going there. There was snow up there, like little drifts.
Yeah, it's not too bad though. I mean, actually, usually you and I, we're not going for another 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 to 4 weeks. Mid to late April. I mean, this is my first time taking Devin on the youth turkey hunt.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really been turkey hunting this early, so I actually have no idea what the birds are going to do, which is exciting for me. But right now, Devin is not feeling well, so hopefully he's starting to feel better towards the end of the week. He has some type of man. He has like some viral thing going with his lungs. Malachi's just getting over it. Devin started not feeling well on Sunday. So yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what happens either. I hope up that high where we're going to be that there isn't any snow. Chances are pretty good that there's not going to be. But we've had them up there before. We've had little piles here and there in the shady areas.
My Uncle Mike is kind of in that same plane. And the snow is melting. Turkeys are in his yard. So usually when the snow melts, the turkeys start coming in his yard, and we get to go thumbs up. That's a good sign. Hopefully there's no crazy snow drifts that come in this week.
Yeah, probably not. The last episode we had Kirk Douglas on
awesome
from Mustang
guy.
Ridge Guide Service. And one thing I forgot to mention is where we go hunting. Kirk, years ago said, "Don't ever show anybody this spot," and I haven't yet. But one thing he says to me on the way in there, we're driving down the freeway. It's a 2-lane highway, really, through the mountains.
Yeah.
And we're going down this one slope, and he's like, "Keep your eyes peeled out." He says, "Every time I seen a turkey over here, it was a good hunt." Like a mile later, he's like, "It's not looking good." And all of a sudden, we're just in him thick. He's like, "Oh shit, it's on."
Yeah. So he said that.
See him on the freeway, it'll be good in the hills.
Seen that? He said the same thing to me, but it was more towards the turnoff. It was like, check these fields out right here. If there's turkeys in these fields, it's game on. But he was like, if we don't see any turkeys, we're gonna have to work hard. One year we didn't see any turkeys. He was like, oh damn. He was like, it might be rough.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, that year, that was his first year he was in Arizona, and he actually flew back up here to go hunting with myself and Jack. And Jack was the only one to tag out. And then they were heading to Oregon.
Yeah.
That was the what year was that? It was the year before you and I went.
17 or something? I don't know.
I think it was
Might have been 17
18 or 19.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the year before you and I went.
I'm looking at a couple spurs to my belt.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I was cleaning out some stuff the other day here in the room, and I opened this little box, and there's like this little bag in there. I'm like, what is this little bag? And I opened the bag and poured it in my hand, and there's a bunch of bear claws in there. I was like, oh shit. Time to make a necklace.
Nice.
Put some turkey spurs on there. Be
That'd be
sick,
cool.
dude. Yeah.
I got some spiked deer antlers that I'm gonna make a necklace of for my boys.
Like, are those elk teeth on that?
Yeah, exactly. My first buck I ever shot
Polish
was
that into a ring cap.
little blacktail spike, and I'm gonna make my kids a necklace, but there's still some items that I need to get on there. So I have some elk whistling teeth that are gonna go on there, and then I'm trying to tag on my first bear, man. So hopefully the fall season starts August 1st here in Washington. Hopefully I'm able to get it done sometime between August and November.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I are both in that boat where it comes to.
Let me tell you what, son.
Here we go.
This is my year for bear. And just
Oh
write
my
this
God.
date
Here we
down.
go. Here we go.
March 29th, I'm declaring I'm going to tag a black bear this year in the month of August. I got the spot picked out. I know exactly where I'm going to go. We've been there before. And, there's a bunch of bears in there. We just have to spend some time. There's a lot of guides that go up in that area. I like to talk to the huckleberry pickers up there because they see them,
Oh man, is this the
Don't say
same
it on air,
area?
Dave.
No,
Don't
no.
say
Is this the same area where I was overdosing on on
Psycam?
oh, what was that? It was allergy pill.
Yeah. Psycam, I think.
I don't know what it was. It was an allergy pill. So we were staying the night at our friend Luke's house, and I am allergic to dogs, which I have dogs, so it doesn't. I mean, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But my allergic reaction is asthma attack. So I was like, well, if we're gonna stay the night at Luke's house, I'm gonna take these allergy pills. Well, I took too many of them. The next day, every single time we would go to a new area, I was passed out.
Oh,
I was knocked out of sleep. So, are we talking about this area? We talking
same spot?
the same spot where we thought there was a black bear and it happened to be a berry picker?
Oh yeah, I mean we talked to that person. They told us where they were at. Oh yeah, Dave.
Do you remember
We
that?
were walking by. We heard a bunch of crunching down there. I was like, "Oh shit, it's right down there." And there was no vehicle around or anything.
No,
I don't know where they came from.
out pops out this dude wearing a black hoodie with it over his head, and we're glassing, of course. We're watching, and all of a sudden it's just some guy down at the bottom. And we kind of marched down there just a little bit to talk to him, and he didn't really speak English, so we talked to his daughter, and like, hey, it's bear season. It's not really a good idea to be wearing all black.
Yeah, we had to give him a little education on that one because not too many years ago we had a youth hunter with his dad actually shoot a lady.
It's tragic, man, and it happens.
So that just boils back to hunter's education. Make sure of your target and what's beyond, and don't be in such a hurry.
Yeah, exactly.
If you miss a bear, big deal. If you kill a person, big deal. That's a big deal.
Yeah, huge.
Life altering for multiple people. So I don't want to get too involved in those weeds, but yeah, we saw somebody that was not very aware of what their fellow recreational people were doing, wearing dark colors and hunching over picking berries, and it didn't look right to me. Then they stood up, and we were able to tell, but they were pretty far off at first, so we figured we'd ask them, have you seen any bears? And the lady was like, yeah, well, there's a bear yesterday down that way, so we boogied off in that direction and looked for one.
We saw a lot of sign. Actually, I'm super excited to go. If that's where we're going, I'm super excited because that was actually the last time I ever been in those woods, and it was this vast, tons of huckleberries. I'm fired up now, man.
Yeah.
Oh man,
It's a good spot.
I am fired up.
I met a guide up there, and he was during the weekday because we stayed for 2 weeks down there elk hunting. And he was there in September, and he's like, yeah, we took 7 bears out of here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And he was like, I come out here during the week and scout. My guys come in the weekend to hunt. He's like, we get them every weekend.
Well, you know what's different from when we went there in the past till now is, number one, the glass game is going to be a lot better. Because all we had was some 10x42s.
Cascos, baby.
Just glassing around looking at, I don't even know. I think I had my grandpa's pair of binos at that point because I had some stolen from me at a 3D shoot, so that was not good. But yeah, we got way better glass. I got those Vortex, the 15s.
Oh, did you get those?
Yeah. I have those will be on a tripod, which I was never tripod.
I thought we were talking
Final
turkey
one.
here. Anyhow, the conversation's
Yeah,
great, you know.
yeah, we're going on a little tangent here. I got excited about the Bears.
I got to
season,
give a
but
shout out to Vortex too, because I mean, I've always been, um, I've always tried to get the best I could afford. You know, like what's going to be the best. And I have a friend of mine who has some incredible Zeiss um, glass. You know, he has some really nice GeoVid range finding binoculars or something,
Mhm.
and just incredible. And I was like envious of that. You know, I was like, damn, I can, you know, I'm not spending $3,000 on a pair of binoculars. And this was, you know, a
Here's the
couple years
thing.
back.
Here's the thing about glass, though, and Kirk will hit us with the Will Smith right now and smack the shit out of us. But um,
At least we know it won't hurt.
yeah, exactly. You're gonna get what you pay for, right? So I mean, the Swaros and the Zeiss are the best glass that money can buy, and they're expensive for a reason. But for the regular Joe, we're gonna get what we can afford, and we're gonna make do with that. But we're also gonna try to, pick and choose what is gonna be extremely clear for us. And that's why the binos that I got weren't super expensive, but it was what I could afford at the time right now.
Mm-hmm. And what I was getting at with the Vortex thing is that I have, a pretty nice rangefinder. I had a Vortex HD rangefinder. I think it was a Razor, and I ended up picking up a more high end one
Mm-hmm.
to a friend of mine. And the Vortex, they're in the top realm as far as glass goes for what you're gonna need. I mean, I've looked through Swarovskis and I can tell you that there's a distinct difference when you look through those glasses. Like if you want to see the difference between a branch and the pine needles on the branch, that's what you're gonna see. But the Vortex is right there. I've switched over primarily to Vortex and now Leopold because the warranties are the same.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah,
the
Leopold,
lifetime warranty, I'm not in
my
here.
10x42s are Leopolds. They are, but everything else I have is Vortex.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, both are freaking phenomenal. I love them. Number one, I say I'm on a budget. I am on a budget because if my wife finds out that I spent $3,000 on a pair of binos, it's gonna be Muhammad Ali. I'm gonna get my butt kicked.
Yeah.
So, for me,
Muhammad Mommy.
yeah, exactly. Just getting whooped up. So, not really, but I'm gonna have some explaining to do.
Yeah, right. Devin needed this.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, yeah, exactly.
Yep. These are for Devin. Get to the woods, give me that shit. Your task goes.
Yeah. Actually, I picked up a pretty good pair of binos for him. I got some Nikon Pro Staffs for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are good too.
Yeah, not bad.
So warranty for me, because I'm in the woods, I'm worried about if I had a pair of binoculars or something that I damaged, am I gonna have to buy a brand new pair, or am I gonna get these warranted? And I had a incident with my Vortex spotting scope. Right, I brought it out of the safe, and I was going to look at something. I went to do the fine adjustment on it, and it was actually bent like 30 degrees, almost straight down. I mean, it was terrible. I called my wife. I'm like, "Hey, what were you doing? My scope is bent." She's like, "I didn't touch a thing." I was like, "Yeah, right. I didn't do this to this thing." So anyhow, sent to Vortex, brand new pair. Not only that, they gave me a shirt, a hat, a frisbee for the dog. You name it, all this whole package. I was like, "Hey, wow, check this out. Here you go, Hunter." Whoop, flip it through the wood. He's out there catching a frisbee that says Vortex on it. So, yeah, they take care of you, and that's one thing is you want to make sure that whatever you spend your money on is hard earned, and you want to make sure there's some sort of warranty because
it's the warranty and it's the customer service. You know what I mean? Like that was instantaneous. I remember when you sent that back. It came back pretty dang fast.
Yeah,
and it was brand new, and yeah, and it had a bunch of goodies in it, and I was like, "What the heck?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was awesome customer service. So, anyhow, gotta look for the customer service. Gotta look for the warranty, and you're spending money anyway. You might as well make sure you have a lifetime warranty on your products.
Yeah. So if anybody's listening, Vortex, yeah, we rock that stuff.
Yeah, it's good. It's good equipment, and it's got an awesome warranty.
Yeah.
I really appreciate those guys over there.
Yeah, definitely. Vortex, I mean, it's just good stuff. It really is.
I just wish I could afford some of the rifle scopes they have. Those things are super nice.
Oh, yeah, I just picked up one too. Just for bear hunting.
Okay.
Yep.
Put it to work.
Yep. We need to get sighted in though. But so this weekend, turkey season.
Yep.
I'm actually excited about my little my setup that I got right now. I have a marsupial chest pouch, and it's actually their fishing pouch that I saw a couple pictures on Instagram through marsupial and Type 1 calls that they're using it as like a little turkey setup.
Oh yeah, keep all your stuff in there.
Yeah,
It's like a chest pack for fishing.
yep, exactly what it is. But you can put your slate or pot call like in these little stretch pockets up in the front, and then you can have your box call in one of the other pouches, and then there's a larger pouch where you can actually keep your glass in. So it's like 2 zip pouches, and then there's 2 like stretch pouches up in the front, and then there's a 3, kind of hard to explain, but it's got 3 little webbing areas in the front
Divider
that kind of like stagger downward, so it's big, then smaller and smaller, and that's where you can put your little striker.
Oh, okay.
For your pot or slate call.
Like a tactical turkey vest.
Yeah, it's freaking dope. I'm super excited for that just because
Got me all jazzed to see it too, man.
well, it's gonna look cool. Well, you can see it.
Secrets.
You can see it on Instagram at Ridgeline Hitman.
Okay.
I took a picture of it, which I'll show you here in a minute. But it's really awesome. I'm super excited just because it's gonna look really cool.
Well, me, I have this fanny pack I use. Where is it? Right down there. It's old
With
school.
like turkey vest.
It's a field line fanny pack.
Do you have the seat cushion for your bum?
Seat cushion is right there next to that First Light gear box.
I don't got time for that.
Right there.
I'm on the move too much to have the little seat thing.
You don't want to move on a rock too fast. I'll tell you that. 10 minutes of sitting on a rock will do it to you.
Yeah,
Plus, if it's
you don't
cold,
be sitting on the rocks, man. You got to find that nice little sweet spot.
yeah. Well, Eastern Washington, you never know what you're going to get.
You know what? That is true. See, here it is right here, Dave.
Oh yeah.
So there's little stretch pockets up in the front right here.
Yeah.
And there's 2 zips.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, actually,
let me see that.
Actually, this pack. So that's their fish pack from Marsupial. I actually won that on Instagram. Yeah, so shout out to Marsupial.
And now that company, they're made in the USA. They're out of Arizona, I think.
Yeah. Yep. They are. They definitely are. Same with the Type 1 calls. They're both out of Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
Yeah. So if you want to look for a good chest pack, bino pack, or even for fishing, go to marsupialgear.com. To be honest with you, I actually got told about this company through Kirk. We just had on the last podcast. And Dave knows me. I'm kind of a gear junkie when it comes to things. And I was going through different chest packs, seemed like every year, just trying to figure out which one was going to be the best for what I do and how I hunt. And when I landed on Marsupial, that was it for me.
Honestly, Dave, I saw that chest pack you had with the bino for your binos. Kind of jealous. Like, man, I went online, looked at it, I was like, not gonna do it. I just bought this other chest pack 6 months ago. You know? we're both kind of gearheads that way, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny in a way, only because it's like, dude, that's actually really cool. And then you want to get it.
Well, I look at it.
And then we get it. And then we're like, ooh, that's really cool. We got to go look at it. You know, some other person comes with something else and we're like, ooh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the shiny object, you know. You see it, you want it, you grab it, and you're like, man.
But for us, we know that has to be functional. It has to work. So, I mean, the bino harness that you're have been using the past couple years is the Rockman. bino harness, which we both had. And it's an awesome harness. Completely waterproof, water sealed. Great bino harness. The only fallback that I had with it is that it's like a clamshell design.
Mhm.
So when you open it up, it just has this like huge shelf that sits there, so you have to close it.
Mhm. Well, I used it. I'm still using it. And
No, it's a great harness. I like that one too.
here's how I tested it. I opened it. I used my glass. Had the lanyard tied to my binoculars.
Yeah.
Let the binoculars down, and I drew my bow. And that clamshell design doesn't interfere with my string at all. So, like, anytime I'm getting ready, I'm going to check my gear to make sure I'm not, like, if my pack has a strap on the shoulder strap, I make sure when I draw, no matter how I draw, and I overextend to make sure that nothing's going to grab that string. Because if I'm leaning to the left, because I'm right-handed,
Yeah.
if I lean to my left, I don't want my string to grab my sleeve, grab a strap on my backpack, if my bino harness get in the way. So that's really the measure for me, but ultimately finding something that works well for you is what we're getting at here. So
Yeah, and it doesn't even matter what you have. I mean, I had a Muley Freak bino harness that was awesome. But my brother-in-law didn't have anything.
Hmm.
And I didn't want him walking around with just his binos hanging off his chest, man, because that, number one, old school technology. And if you have to actually beat feet and that thing's jumping around, hitting you in the chin and stuff, I don't like that.
yeah,
And I know that I like to send people through the struggle. Like I like when people don't have the right gear and they're struggling, because I've been through that. But for my brother-in-law, for how hard he works day in and day out, I didn't want him to struggle in the hunting woods. So I was like, hey man, I'm gonna give you this pack to help you out.
yeah, that's pass things down, but ultimately finding what works for you in your scenario. We're talking about turkey here, so your elk hunting setup is going to be different than your turkey setup. You have that
Oh yeah.
marsupial gear pack. You're not going to use that for elk hunting. You have
No, I have
different another marsupial pack.
Yeah, I have the fully enclosed marsupial pack, and I have another one that I gave to Devin. So I have 3 marsupial packs. And what's great about the marsupial
No,
too?
you don't. Devin has a pack.
Well, I have 2 then, and Devin has 1.
Devin needs 3.
Yeah, yeah. Devin definitely needs another one. I think in like the Joey or something. But what's nice about the marsupial is that all you need is the actual straps, and each pack you can just buy the pack and then put your
clips in there.
Yeah, so it's like
universal design.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But I have 3 separate ones.
Yeah. You got to be ready for any occasion,
Yeah, so I can just snag whichever one. I don't have to worry about swapping them all in and out. How I roll.
Yeah, I can't wait to opening morning, man. We're gonna get up early.
So we're leaving Friday. I'm not sure when you're leaving.
I plan on leaving Friday, but I don't know if I'm
time-wise. Yeah, so I'm getting home early. I'm going to have everything packed up and ready to go. I don't know if I'm taking Devin out of school early or not. I don't know if the wife will let me. But even at then, I mean, Devin's home at like 2:15 or whatever like that. So we'll leave at that point, and then we got a 5-hour drive to the secret squirrel spot.
Well, I'd like for you to follow me because I got the Toyota. It ain't no spring chicken.
Oh, you're bringing the red bomber?
Red bombers, yeah, man. Me and Soph are gonna ride out in the red bomber.
So Dave has this. What is that? What year is that? 90 something.
It's an 04, baby. What the heck?
Is it really?
Give me some credit. I work for a living,
dude. I mean, they haven't from like 2000. Oh wait, 96 to what 2008. They all look the same.
Hey, this is the it has its wear and tear. Let's put it that way.
Hey, I'm not dogging the red bomber here, because that thing is the bee's knees when you're going through the trails. It is the red bomber for a reason, because you can whip that thing around and on a dime.
Turns good. You can. I don't want to scratch it. I like it to look presentable.
So the red bomber is a Toyota Tacoma.
It's a Toyota Tacoma, and the 4-wheel drive works great. It's a V6. I don't know about the gas mileage, but it's not as bad as other trucks I've had, and it runs great. But it's got a couple 100,000 miles on it.
Oh, that
So
thing's just warming up.
I like to think so, but at the same time, it's like, if something happens, I don't want to be behind you and be like, oh, we don't have cell service, and you're all the way at Turkey Spot, and I'm back there,
Okay.
in
No,
the cornfield.
we'll roll out together then.
Yeah.
That won't be a problem. So, setting up camp. I'm bringing a teepee tent, something that I'm testing out.
You ain't coming in my tent if you get cold.
No, I have a heater. I'm bringing a little.
It's enclosed.
Mr. Buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's enclosed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking teepee. I'm thinking like the bottom has a foot missing of it. It's just kind of like on a pole and it's tied down.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean it's a trekking pole one.
Oh, okay.
So you set it up. It's just one pole, and you set it up with your trekking poles, and then you stake everything down. It's really only 4 corners that you stake down, but then like there's like a little tent area, and then there's an open area where you can like, put your boots or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put a heater there because I don't put my boots outside, because one time I was in the backcountry and my boots were full of ants.
Mm.
So I had to trek around with my socks on.
I'll tell you, if there's ants in my boot, they got some. Those ants deserve whatever they get coming.
No, it was like an ant's nest. It wasn't like a couple ants. They had like built a nest in my dang boots.
They're like, this is it, boys. Make yourself comfortable.
It was insane. I like looked at my boots and I was like, oh hell no, because it was just crawling.
Yeah.
I looked down and was like, oh my gosh. I'm like a mile and a half away from the creek bottom. Took my boots with me, carrying them, freaking ants everywhere, carrying them down into the creek and just start washing my boots out of these freaking ants.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was
Hope you boys can swim.
It was gnarly.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Damn. I don't know what I would do.
Oh, I was
I'd
freaking
probably
out.
just jam my feet in there and start wiggling my toes around and smash.
Oh, it was too many ants.
Oh, is that bad?
Yeah, man. Like you would have stuck your boots on and it would have looked like you had gators up to your knees, but they were ants.
Oh, dang. So, ants, I've been down south quite a bit and they have these little red fire ants.
Mm-hmm.
If those things touch your skin, I mean, they're going to bite you right away. I don't know why they bite right away.
I fell into one of those nests down in Arizona.
Mm.
Went down there to visit my aunt and uncle, and we were playing tag. And me being me, I thought it was an awesome spot to go hang out, hide behind this cactus. Well, this cactus had a fire ant's nest on it. And from my on the bottom of my feet, because I had like flip-flops on, up to my kneecaps was like burnt from fire ants. It was intense. Yeah, I think I was 13 years old. Fire ants, yeah. Arizona was awesome.
I can't believe that, man. They look like little, the bad part, if you're in Arizona and everything's kind of sandy. The fire ant nest in Louisiana, you have grassy yards and you see these little piles of sand in the grass. That's a fire ant nest. Well, in Arizona, they're just like blending right in. You can't even see them.
No, and it was right up against this cactus. So I'm hiding behind this cactus, and it was just at the bottom of the I didn't even know that. It was at the bottom of the damn cactus. So I'm hopping around, getting bit by these fire ants, also getting blasted by a cactus.
Get bit by a snake, Daddy.
Well, I'm like hopping around like, oh, and I fall into the cactus. Oh, it was terrible, man. It was bad. It was bad.
Since we're on the subject of
playing hide and seek,
weird things in boots, Luke, who was on our first podcast, he's back in Tennessee now, but when he moved to Florida, he had hunted here his entire life, and he went down there. He's called me on the phone. Oh man, I'm getting ready for hunting. It's so weird down here. There's alligators and all this stuff. I'm hunting the swamp and bought these snake bite boots. Like intrigued by these boots, and he's like, yeah, they're like knee high. Snakes can't bite through them and all this stuff. Well, anyhow, he got stuck in his truck in this mud pit because apparently the mud is like super slippery out there. You can't even, 4-wheel drive doesn't help you or anything like that. He gets stuck in this pit. Well, he has to jump off the hood of his truck across the pit and run like 3 or 4 miles out before they close the gate to this section of land. I guess they close the gates at night to public land, like where they don't want people coming in at night. So he goes in, he jumps off the truck, clears the water, looks back at the truck, and his boots are on the hood. So he's like, oh shit. So then he's like, okay, he's got his tennis shoes on, so he's running and he's looking for rattlesnakes and stuff. And he turn the corner, there's this big old alligator in the middle of the road. He's like, oh no, what do I do now? And then this other guy came with a truck and ended up, driving towards the gator. The gator went off and then he pulled his truck out, but bent the heck out of his truck. It was like, had 10,000 miles on it. He had just bought it. That story always sticks in my head with them boots, man. Funny.
Well, we won't be running into any of the ants when we're out turkey hunting. The only thing that I think that we will need to worry about is ticks.
I did see a rattlesnake up there.
Yeah, there's snakes up there.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about them, though. I mean, number one, we got shotguns, so we can just blow their faces off. And, hopefully it's on the front side of the hill, so we can still go up and over and hunt turkeys, and it won't really disrupt anything.
Yeah, we're covering a lot of subjects here.
Yeah, we kind of went on a tangent.
Yeah.
It's all right.
So this weekend, you're trying out the teepee tent.
Yep.
I'll be staying in my traditional dome tent. We have a little heater for that. I learned my lesson. I have a little cot now. So I'm going to use a little camp cot.
Weird.
Yeah, right? Didn't I use your cot or?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the last time, Dave is actually super sick. So I give him, a little bit of leeway here. But this mother effer didn't bring anything to sleep on. Like, I mean, nothing. He had his sleeping bag, and that was it. And he was like, Dave, I don't have anything to sleep on. And I had my, nice cot. I'm like, oh, shit. All right, man, you go ahead and sleep on the cot. I think I have like one of the little blow-up deals, so I slept on that.
Wait a minute.
What?
You let me sleep on the ground? You had a little blow-up deal?
No, you were sleeping in my cot. What are you talking about? I was on the ground.
Like, wait a minute. Let me get my extra pair of gloves here.
I when I go like hunting and camping out of my truck, I bring absolutely everything because you just don't know what you're going to forget or someone else is going to forget. So I bring everything. Now, when it comes to the backcountry, I usually have everything all lined up and packed in my pack before I go. So I try not to like forget anything. I have a checklist, but when it's just like out of the truck, all the totes are coming. All of them. It doesn't matter what it is. All the totes are in the back of the truck. You just never know. And yeah, we're just going to go out for the weekend. We're going to be weekend warriors coming up this weekend, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think the kids are going to have fun, and it's, Devin's done it, but Sophia hasn't. And I think she's going to be hooked on turkey.
Yeah, we'll I'll probably wake up in the morning, ask you which way you're going to go, and I'll go the opposite way.
Oh, you're going to pull up Burgess?
Yeah, exactly like Burgess does. And come back to camp early, be like, guess what, boys? We killed all the birds.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I think for the morning, we actually need to probably be separated only because it's going to be better opportunities and for us to locate birds. And then, come back for lunch, figure out a good game plan, and maybe we can team up together, and maybe we can even get a double for the kids if we haven't already tagged out in the morning.
Crazy. That would be crazy, Dave. That would probably be top one. Definitely top of the list for hunts. I mean, 2 kids tagging out opening day on a youth season and a first time hunter.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm excited to see this weekend what it's going to bring, and next week we should have something to report, good or bad. Success or not, at least we'll have a fun time. We'll probably have some funny stories to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. Podcast number 5 is basically going to be the breakdown of our hunt, and podcast going forward. That's basically what if we go out hunting or scouting or something like that. The next podcast is going to be the breakdown of that event. What worked, what didn't work. What scenarios happened. Breakdowns like that.
So after this, what are we gonna get into? What's next, Dave?
Well, to be honest with you, I would like to have Kirk back on and talking antelope. Because those antelope hunts start like late summer. And it's right following into spring bear, which he doesn't do, but we're definitely going to tackle it because bear is on the top of both of our lists. The one tag that we really want to fill, and that's that bear tag. Sandana and I have not filled that yet. We've had a couple opportunities, but it just, circumstances happen and it just hasn't happened for us. So, bear hunting is definitely up there, but antelope is also on my list on an out-of-state hunt that I really want to do really bad. And we had the opportunity kind of slip through our fingers last year. Kirk was guiding for an outfit that he actually no longer guides for because some circumstances that popped up that we'll probably get into when next time he's on talking about antelope, because we had an opportunity to go hunt antelope in, I believe it was New Mexico, and it kind of just fell through. But yeah, we're going to probably talk some antelope and spring bear and just, well, actually fall bear, because we no longer have spring bear. And, after that, it's going to be getting into the deer and elk season, and then anything else that pops up in between.
Yeah.
I mean, we could probably talk a whole year on elk.
Well, I'm actually looking forward to talking about some fishing.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
What am I thinking about? We're skipping a whole season here. Fishing is like, yeah. What am I thinking about? Yeah.
Break out the tackle box, hit some lakes good. I was talking to a friend of mine this week, and to my surprise, because I don't always talk to everybody about all the things in their life. This guy, he fishes on the I don't know what's called the Toyota FLW or Major League Fishing Tour.
Oh, for like bass fishing?
Bass fishing, yeah. And so he just went on a tournament last weekend in Lake Washington, and we were at his shop talking about all this bass he fishes for. I'm looking at all this gear. I'm like, man, that's crazy. Look at this thing here. And he's like, oh yeah, this boat here, it's got a camera. Basically, it's almost like a video game. He says how the cameras work and stuff. So
I'm
looking forward to getting into that stuff.
Well, we have also a mutual friend that I've hunted with last year, hunt mule deer, who also does bass tournaments.
Shannon, yeah.
Shannon,
yep.
Yeah.
Shannon and this guy know each other, and they're gonna. So I'm looking forward to getting some fish talk after this, and then we'll kind of morph around. We enjoy the outdoors, so it's all aspects. We're serious crabbers. I mean, we go crabbing, quite often.
Well, Dave, you don't only just crab. I mean, you do squidding.
Yeah, squidding in October and all the way.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah. So basically, here at the Ridgeline Hunting Podcast, you're going to get a full spectrum of what the P&W actually has.
Yeah.
And I mean, hunting, fishing, and basically everything outdoors. That's what we do.
Waterfowl hunts.
Yeah.
Varmint hunts, coyotes. We don't really target mountain lions, but we've seen some last year, a couple of them.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't really gotten into mountain lion hunting, but it's on the list. It's something that we definitely want to do.
Here's how mountain lion hunting works. Go on a deer hunt. If you see a mountain lion, it's a mountain lion hunt. Instantly.
So we'll get into our mountain lion visuals here soon, because we actually saw a few mountain lions, which never really happens, and it was within
2-day span.
2 days. It was back to back. It was crazy because we're in completely different spots. It was intense.
In this area we hunt, there's been quite a few mountain lions taken each year, and you're probably talking 7 to 10 in the year in that zone.
Yeah.
And they monitor the zones each year in Washington, and you report each mountain lion taken as you take them, because they have to give a like a state stamp. After they reach a quota of like whatever that zone has, then they close that area to mountain lion hunting. So you might be able to take one in one area, but 10 or 12 in another.
Yeah.
But in this particular area, it's good to see, like in 2 days, you've seen 2 mountain lions, and we're hunting elk. So we also seen plenty of elk in the same area as the mountain lions.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, and it's probably something that we might need to focus on, only because with that many predators in one area, we might need to start protecting our elk.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, might be time to start.
It's a good opportunity too. So, yeah, we're going to cover a wide range of different things you could do throughout the year, and from hunting to fishing, waterfowls, some crabbing. We'll talk crabbing and whatever the weekends bring, and sometimes when there's a holiday, we'll hit that and let you guys know as it evolves what we're doing.
Yep. So, yeah, we're gonna bring a lot, and we're gonna have guests. I do have, a couple of fishing guides, that said that they would be willing to come on the podcast. One of them was 360 Fishing, Tommy Tucker, a good friend of mine. We played paintball together. I mean, I've known this guy for 20 years.
Yeah.
A long time. Another friend of mine that fishes for Sturgeon on Columbia.
I'm very familiar with that.
Which I've been waiting for an invite, so we're gonna do that. Actually,
the elusive keeper sturgeon. That's what we're looking for.
The season actually starts the 1st of April. So when you and I are done with turkey hunting, when you and I are tagged out, Rich is the gentleman's name is Rich Eaton, and if you guys want to check out some of what he does, it's a Big Bank Fishing on YouTube. Check him out. Huge sturgeon. I don't know if he's got a honey hole or what, but this dude is just catching massive sturgeon all the time.
Yeah. My first ever sturgeon experience. We meet the guide at the ramp, and we start going upriver, and we're going. It's a Motion Marine jet boat with a 305 V8 outboard.
Oh, so you're hauling?
Oh no, let me correct that. I don't know how they classify the motor, but it has it's like an outboard. It doesn't interfere in the walking space inside the boat. So, but it's a jet drive, so it's really hauling. I mean, we're going up the river, and we're just skipping along, probably a couple inches of the boat in the water. And all of a sudden he's like, sit down. Like we're seated, but he's like, hold on. And everybody kind of like, what is he talking about? And he whips this thing in a circle, goes back downstream, and he's like, give me that net. Give me the net. And get the net, and he dips this little shad out of the river. And I was like, what's that for? And he goes, this is our bait. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this guy didn't bring any bait? We paying $250 a person. There's $1,000 sitting in the boat, and we don't have any bait? like, what the hell is going on here? So I was like, okay, well, trust the guide, So we're going upstream more, and he does this like 5 or 6 times on the way upriver. And we get on buoy. It's how they set the Columbia. You set your anchor, then you have a buoy which marks your spot.
Mm-hmm.
You just tie up to the buoy. Well, we get on buoy, and he starts rigging up this fish he had just captured with a net that was floating on the surface, and then there's like a 48-ounce ball of lead we're using to bring the bait to the bottom, and he needs our help to get everything out there and stuff. But anyhow, we set the bait down, and halfway through the set, he's like, "Hold on, guys, there's a fish coming," and I'm like, "What is he talking about?" He's like, "Unhook the buoy." We unhook the buoy. He brings the boat over to the right, gets this little net, whips another freaking sturgeon out, or another little fish out of the water. It's just these shads. So basically, the shad run comes up the Columbia River at the same time of sturgeon season, and they try to go through the dam, and they get knocked out by the propellers in the dam, and they just float down the river like they just got killed by the dam, and they come floating down the river, and the sturgeon love to eat those. So he's catching like instantly fresh bait, and we're like 300 to 400 yards below the Bonneville Dam, and that day we caught 13 sturgeon over 8 feet long.
Dang!
And he didn't bring any bait. Best trip ever.
So Rich does all his fishing from the bank. No boat. So we're definitely going to go. I'm going to talk to Rich, and Rich will be on the podcast as well. Just talking sturgeon. And yeah, you're going to get the full spectrum. You're going to get everything. We're going to throw the whole kitchen at you.
If you like the outdoors, if you've ever thought about taking a trip, the Pacific Northwest has a lot to offer. There's many other things you can go, in search of throughout the United States, but the Pacific Northwest, has a lot to offer. Washington, Oregon, interior wise, we're talking about Idaho and Montana.
Mm-hmm.
These are places that still have great opportunity. And weekend time, we're an hour and a half from the coast, and we're going from turkey hunting to crabbing.
Yeah, you can do it all in one day if you really wanted to.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, and you could clam in the evening if you wanted to. It all just depends, and we're looking forward to covering it all with you.
Yep. So if you like what you're listening to, please follow us, subscribe. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. We're also on YouTube. The YouTube channel is Ridgeline Hitman, and you'll find that on YouTube. But yeah, thank you for listening, and that's it. We're calling it a night. Episode 4.
Coming up.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening.